Well, we start with some overnight news here at 6:01. It's been a tense night in northwest Albuquerque. SWAT teams have been out surrounding a house here near Coors and St. Joseph. Again, it's in the northwest part of the city. Now, last we heard, this SWAT situation was still going on. Police are not saying exactly why they started it. They're not saying who was holed up in the house or exactly why that person doesn't want to come out. But we do know there have been a lot of cops out there all night long. As soon as we get more information on this, we'll bring it to you. You can always check our website, KRQE.com, for the latest. And at 6:01, developing this morning, Albuquerque police are investigating claims made by a pair of young girls that a man tried to molest, then kidnap them at Riverview Park near Golf Course in Paseo del Norte yesterday. Brian Maggard says his granddaughter and daughter, who are 9 and 10 years old, were playing in this park just on the other side of a brick yard, a back wall in their backyard. A man walked up, grabbed one of the girls by picking her up supposedly between the legs and touching her very inappropriately. She says she went limp and he dropped her. Then the girls say the man tried to pick up the other girl. She was able to wiggle free. The girls took off. They ran inside and told Maggard what happened.
They said that he had ran off laughing after he grabbed them. They were distraught. And it seems like everything's going to turn out okay for them, and hopefully he won't be back.
Okay, Maggard says he got in his car, he drove all around looking for the guy. He couldn't find him. Police are not saying much about this, but they say they are investigating. The girls describe that man as 40-ish, white with dark hair, wearing glasses and a blue sleeveless workout shirt. Well, I'll call this another bear, another day, and this one making a food run into town and straight under the radar of residents. Our cameras were there when Game and Fish and Albuquerque police corralled this bear in a backyard near Morse and Comanche, 2 miles from the foothills. This was last night.
Looks like he posed for it. He's got to be huge.
Yeah, basically looks like the bear posed for that camera there, and yeah, he does look big. Game and Fish shot him with a tranquilizer dart. The bear came down, landing on a bear bag. Took 4 officers to carry him. They'll probably release him back out into the wild. But if your children have food allergies and you worry about what they might eat or even just be around while they're at school, listen up. You should know this. The U.S. House just passed a bill aimed at helping schools better prepare for severe and what are sometimes life-threatening allergic reactions caused by foods, oftentimes peanuts. The bill provides incentives to schools with trained administrators ready to give epinephrine to students believed to be having a reaction, basically through an EpiPen. The bill is sponsored by Republican Congressman Phil Rowe of Tennessee, who is a doctor, and Democratic Congressman Steny Hoyer of Maryland. The bill now goes to the U.S. Senate. And apparently, someone set part of Roswell's controversial horse slaughterhouse on fire. The owner of Valley Meats, Rick De Los Santos, says on Saturday someone poured some kind of an accelerant over compressors on his refrigeration units, a very critical component to keeping the plant up and running. This comes after Mr. De Los Santos has gotten a lot of threats from slaughterhouse opponents. He says, however, trying to light the place on fire, takes things to a whole new level.
People that will go, light a fire at your facility, or people that will threaten your life or threaten your kids' life.
All right, Valley Meat says it's going to replace the damaged refrigeration units this week so that plant can open as scheduled to. That is on Monday, but that is if a judge does not block the opening at a federal court hearing on Friday. Of course, we're going to keep you updated and let you know what happens there. Well, the man accused of attacking a city bus driver in Albuquerque is going to stay out of jail for now. Michael Fisher faced a judge yesterday on a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Police say that Fisher hit the bus driver, Robert Gallegos, with a rock, possibly this one, on Sunday near San Mateo and Montgomery. After that, Fisher supposedly tried to run, but 3 people nearby caught up with him. Now, Fisher's wife claims that discrimination led to the beating, telling us that her husband was protecting her because the driver wouldn't let her and her sons on the bus. The driver told police the couple had recently been escorted off the bus because they refused to get off. Fisher has already posted a $15,000 bond, which the judge kept the same. Again, that kept him out of jail. Police say the driver got a gash above his right eye and that he had to get at least 10 stitches. All right, we've all seen cops and sheriff's deputies blow through red lights, sometimes with horribly tragic consequences. Well, now new policies being adopted by the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office and Albuquerque Police Department are cracking down, completely eliminating Code 2. That means lights only. Now cops and deputies have to use their lights and sirens when they blow through red lights, and they better be responding to a life-threatening emergency. If they do, Both sheriff's deputies and police here say the new policies follow a nationwide trend to go ahead and reduce lawsuits. Well, tragic ends to some promising lives. 2 of 3 people killed in this horrible rollover crash in northern New Mexico on Monday were college football players. Police say the driver of an SUV is on his way from Texas to Utah, drifted off Highway 550 near Cuba and lost control. It rolled over, killed the 2 men you just saw. 19-year-old Polo Manacanu and his 13-year-old brother were thrown out. They died. Apollo was a high school star at Euless, Texas, near Dallas, and would have been a redshirt freshman at Texas A&M this fall.
He's just a good boy, and his brother too. They're both good boys.
That is very sad. 18-year-old Gaius Kale Vanacau here was also killed. He would have been a freshman defensive tackle at the University of Utah. The driver, also a football player in Utah, a freshman, and his dad were hurt. They are going to be okay. They're all members of a closely knit Polynesian community in Euless. Now, Polo Manacanu tweeted out that a few hours before the crash they were driving back and they had no sleep. All right, you've seen it before. Construction crews finish a project only to rip it up and do it all over again. Well, that has happened in Valencia County, and now the state admits, yeah, it made a big mistake. The New Mexico Department of Transportation just widened Highway 47 north of Bosque Farms. Crews also put in a median and added concrete barriers to protect utility poles. The project came in $100,000 under budget, but soon it became apparent that customers couldn't get into a local business, so part of that median had to come out. And because the barriers had a ramp-like design, it could have caused cars to go airborne, so yeah, they had to go out too. The mistakes, well, they cost an additional $40,000 to fix.
Just government wasting more money. That's all it is.
Well, the state has now decided to have its staff physically walk a construction project before designing it and before the work actually gets done. If you want to see the whole story, Kim Holland on assignment. Join us tonight on 2 Casa Fox at 9 o'clock or head to our website anytime at KRQE.com. And new for you this morning at 6:08, Frontier Airlines is pulling out of Albuquerque. We have just learned this is going to happen on January 6th of next year. We talked with Dan Hidon at the Sunport this morning. Just a few minutes ago, he confirms, again, that starting next year, Frontier is going to cut Albuquerque from its service. The reason being cited here, ticket sales not covering the cost of the service to Albuquerque. Right now, Frontier goes straight to Denver with connecting flights all over the country. We have 2 flights out of the Sunport. Frontier has been for sale since 2011. Its current financial crisis had them proposing fees up to $100 for a carry-on bag back in May. It's now forced the company to sell the regional jet to Republic Airway, which has entered into a preliminary agreement with a potential buyer. We'll have much more on this as we go through the day here on KRQE. You should know Southwest and United still are going to keep their nonstop flights to Denver from the Sunport.